In this lesson, we're exploring purpose, order, and relationship. What is the meaning of life? This is a question that humanity's been asking for thousands of years. In our more modern world, we've been asking this question, what is your purpose? There's thousands of books that have been written about this idea that there is a unique contribution that is yours to make. Both of these questions are pointing to the desire of purpose. Purpose is our desire to make sense of the world around us and understand our place in it. Commonly, we think of this as a job or a role, or as a mission, a cause, or some way of service to others, or some contribution to the greater good, some way that we're impacting and creating a better world. But there's other ways that we're also doing this, both individually and collectively. We're using religion and ideas of morality and right and wrong. Science is all about understanding the world around us and labeling it and making sense of it and putting it into concrete knowledge. Ideals, perfectionism, the idea of truth, philosophy, again, all of these are in pursuit of understanding how does this world work. And even rules, laws, and government, we don't think of that also as this greater purpose, but it is the way that we're trying to find and understand a way to coexist with each other and create coherence so that we can live the best lives that we can. Of course, there's a lot of push and pull about what that means to live a better life or to create a better world. The idea that state and church should be separated, that religion and science are at odds with each other. Well, the truth is government, religion, and science are ultimately all trying to do the same thing. They're certainly coming at it from different perspectives, but it's no surprise as to why they keep bumping into each other. By understanding that they're all ultimately have the same intention, we can consciously choose how to use the best of them and how to have them all work together. With connection, there's pure consciousness and awareness. We then move into expression and this idea of unique point of consciousness that's separate and yet not disconnected, but does have this unique point of consciousness, unique perspective, unlike any other. Well, with purpose, we now take those individual points of consciousness, whether it's individual people or atoms or the very building blocks of consciousness itself, and we start to put them into some relationship with each other. Purpose is about how do these individual points of consciousness come together to create something greater. Purpose in sense-making is about creating these relationships. A relationship is a way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected. It's a way that two or more people, organizations, behave towards each other. When we think about order, order takes a collection of separate things and arranges them into some kind of relationship with each other. So rather than just randomness, we end up creating this sense of organization. And there's lots of different ways we do this. We just went over a bunch of them, but there's also things like hierarchy that's all about power and priority. This idea of labels and sorting by sameness, pattern recognition, architecture, structure, systems and procedures. All of these are ways that we are arranging and using order to create a relationship. Order amplifies impact. While light has impact, a laser is much more powerful. A laser takes incoherent light that is sort of willy-nilly and all over the place, and allows it to sync up and get into alignment. When light is coherent, then it becomes this powerful laser that has much more impact than the regular light. Like this laser analogy, purpose not only aligns us in our individual lives, it also aligns us with each other and with all of life. Order is valuable when it's used consciously. When we are rigid and use it from fear or a desire to control, the same tools can become static and limiting. Too much of a good thing, too much order creates rigidity, stagnation. Rules become more important than people. We have dogma. The idea of control freaks, we've all heard that phrase. And even things like obsessive compulsive tendencies, all of these are ways that we're overemphasizing order, structure, and to the point where it starts to limit our life force. On a bigger level, bureaucracy, the idea of repression, and even evangelism are all these ways that we are becoming too rigid, or we have too much rigid at the expense of something new coming in. Also, order is also the way we try to limit the selfishness of overexpression and the chaos of growth. We often use it to create safety. When we're in deep purpose and we have these meta skills of sense making, human laws and regulations actually become less necessary. They may even be unnecessary. It might seem like a crazy idea. However, Mother Nature doesn't have this sort of rule book and lots of regulations to be followed. Nature does, though, have a deep foundation in order, in organization, and structure. You could say that there's natural laws, but even those are not rigid. There's balance and self-regulation. There's systems that self-adjust, and nature itself evolves. Time is also a way that we find order. Time is linear, and it puts one thing before another. We have a past, a present, and a future. Tradition, rituals, habits are all about using time in order for us to create. So sense-making through order and relationship creates the blueprint of life. It's the underlying matrix. And who decides what's created? Well, you do, through meaning, intention, and choice, which is another layer of sense-making. And it's also important that we recognize that we are creating and deciding and creating order in relationship with life and with others.